All right, after widespread concerns among Democrats over losing touch with young men, DNC Chair Ken Martin now claims that the problem is solved, saying, quote, "I never want to hear again that the Democratic Party has a problem with young men. We're going to keep working hard to keep them in our camp and our coalition for sure, but we want across the board with every major constituency that left our party last year." And that should tell you something again, that the Democratic Party is back. All right, let's bring in Jason Chaffetz, Fox News contributor. Jason, my friend, great to see you on this holiday weekend. Wonderful you were with us. I have to say, what gets me about this quote is just the confidence. You know, you're coming off election victories, and you get your lap, I think. You know, you get to crow a little bit, but blue states, a couple of victories. The problem with young men and the Democratic Party is over. What do you make of that? Just the confidence of this statement.
Yeah, they had to spend some $20 million to try to figure out what men think about. And I don't think they've solved the problem. They have a long way to go. They don't have policies that will be pro-growth, that will bring down affordability. They're the ones that created the affordability problem. 4 years under Biden Democratic control, prices went up 20%. So Donald Trump has evened them out. Now they're starting to go down. Don't tell us that, hey, suddenly we have men. And by the way, what was the solution to men? Hey, go participate in women's sports. It's okay to go show yourself and expose yourself and be in women's bathrooms. That's the message of the Democratic Party. They haven't abandoned that at all. So I think that is a fantasy land. They are upside down financially. They're in debt. But good luck with the spin, but I don't think anybody's buying it.
Well, it's interesting. Take this, for instance. This is a Politico article that questions if young men were actually won back and talks about moderation and Mamdani, which I think is interesting. Across the board wins over an ideological divide that's brewing in the party. Will young men be won back by moderation or Mamdani? Which raises a good point. I mean, is there an appeal on both sides? Is it the moderates or the progressives that are going to be pulling in these young male votes?
Well, the progressives have been the only ones that shown any sort of growth. These radical socialist, really communist type of issues. Everything's going to be free. You're not going to have to pay for anything. Busing will be free. Government-run grocery stores. You know, we'll just erase everything. But now the reality hits, and there is nothing for free. You all have to pay for it. And they're not just going to eliminate billionaires and then raise taxes on billionaires and expect everything to smooth out. They spend $117 billion just in New York City. And that's not enough. Oh, we need more. That's not appealing. People want jobs. They want opportunities. They want careers. This is not the more government. To hear Mamdani talk about it, government is the solution to everything. All problems, big and small. That is totally polar opposite of what Donald Trump Republicans are talking about. Freedom, liberty, opportunity, love of country. This is what attracts people on both men and women. That's why there's so much growth and excitement about the Republican Party.
Yeah, you know, it's interesting. One of the Democratic White House hopefuls, of course, Gavin Newsom, California, one-party rule out there for quite a while now, had a more measured stance on this issue, though, when he spoke on, this is November 9th. Take a listen.
I say this as a Democrat. We need to own up to the fact that we ceded that ground. We walked away from this crisis of men and boys. This is an issue our party needs to address. We can't afford, from an electoral perspective, to lose these folks, but we also can't on the basis of our values and what we claim to care about and represent. And I say that on behalf of women that need better men.
You know, he'll have to answer on the question of affordability and how he's run his state, of course, but he at least seems to have a little more of a reality stance as far as staying engaged in this population of young men, and that there's still a lot of earning left to do if the Democrats want to see victories in the midterms.
Well, he's a bit of a chameleon, and it depends who's asking him the question. He goes down into another country and says, oh, we've hit every goal, we've solved every problem in the state of California. Look, homeless people are abandoning the state. They couldn't fix the fire problem that they had and the devastation of all those homes. I do agree with the governor. I think he's right. I think they have not paid attention to young men, young women, and there have been poor examples set. Gavin Newsom has been a horrific leader. He's driven California, a state I love. They've driven it absolutely into the ground. and somehow they think they can just put a smiley face on it and say, oh, yeah, we spent $20 million. We understand men now. Game over. You know, we're going to win. That ain't going to work.
All right, well, we'll see what the polls show in the midterms. I imagine that both parties will be working very hard on this issue and trying to earn every vote along the way. Jason Chaffetz, thank you very much. Greatly appreciate you joining us.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.
তো বন্ধু আসমানের চান ধরা ছোঁয়ার বাইরে আমি বন্ধু মাটির মানুষ কেমনে পাইমু তোরে তুই তো বন্ধু আসমানের চান ধরা ছোঁয়ার বাইরে আমি বন্ধু মাটির মানুষ কেমনে পাইমু তোরে বামন হইয়া চাঁদ ধরিব